Podcast versus YouTube. Which one is right for you? Are you team podcast or team YouTube? Depends, man. Sometimes I like podcasts better. Other times I enjoy watching a video. Dope. That's like most people. In terms of content consumption, we are pretty flexible. Different moods lead to different consumption methods. On the flip side, let's say you are now trying to create content. A more concrete method may be needed. Which is right for you? Starting your own podcast or YouTube channel? Thus far, in the ArmaniTalks brand, I've recorded over 200 podcast episodes and 200 videos. Also, coached different clients on launching their personal podcasts and YouTube channels. There are a couple of insights you should know before getting started. By internalizing these insights, you'll be able to pick the path which works for you, long term. Not one of those wishy-washy content creators who only show up when they feel like it. Benefits of a podcast. A podcast is ridiculously easy to set up. You need a few things. Let's talk about the basics. A laptop, free audio recording software, Audacity, a USB microphone that can plug into the laptop, ideas, detailed equipment in the Resources tab. We can even get more complex by adding in the cover art, hosting services, and all that. However, that's not needed for now. A laptop and microphone is what gets the ball rolling. With the ease of setup, a podcast is an easy world to commit to. You can do it dressed up or in your PJs. This is a great route for someone who loves their privacy and is not a big fan of showing their face. Surprisingly, you can build a large podcast following without ever having the need to show your face. With podcasts, the shows can range from 7 minutes to hours long. So, there is flexibility in that regard. Podcasts also feel highly intimate. Something about sound. When we hear sound, it feels like we know this person on a very deep level. Plenty of people listen to podcasts in an isolated manner, meaning they will listen in their car, plug in their headphones in the gym, or play an episode while cooking. Due to the intimate nature, you don't need to do anything overly extravagant to keep holding attention. Actually, it's better if you can act like you're talking to your best friend. Benefits of a YouTube. YouTube, surprisingly, is pretty easy to set up as well. We can always make it more complex later on in the game. Honestly, a smartphone is all that is needed to get the ball rolling. As a creator advances, they can get a nice camera, a lapel mic, lighting, and all that. Detailed equipment on the Resources tab. But in the beginning, the smartphone has a lot of these variables blended in. The beauty of YouTube is that the audience gets to see your face. Why is that important? It's important for a certain segment of people. They like the ability to see your face and hear your voice. Humans are highly visual creatures. And through the visuals, it's a great way to cheat code the rapport building process. Plus, with YouTube, there is always the ability to add in other variables like graphics, B-roll, music, transitions, and all of that. Since you are going to be on camera, this requires a bit of freshening up. However, that's not always needed. Some creators just focus on the content, and appearance is secondary. It's always the content that is king. In the world of YouTube, if you get a nice keyword research tool like TubeBuddy, then it becomes much easier to find topics to create content on. If you choose a topic that is pretty highly searched, with low competition rankings, it's easier to rank for that word. This means you will show up on YouTube's search bar when someone searches for that keyword, making it easier to organically grow an audience. Can you do both YouTube and podcast? Can I do both? Rather than it being podcast versus YouTube, can it be podcast and YouTube? The answer is yes. You can do both. That's what I do. However, you want to ask yourself something. Why am I trying to create this content in the first place? As cheesy as it sounds, the why will determine if you will stay consistent with the process. No need to get super specific with the why yet. Just ask yourself, is the content channel a way to grow business, build credibility, establish a body of work, build a portfolio of ideas, etc.? For me, it was a bit of all the four above. But predominantly, I wanted to get as much experience in regards to media as possible, so I could get in the habit of articulating my ideas while building a smoother voice and pleasant body language. Blending the world of podcast and YouTube helped me improve my communication skills. Balancing the two requires simplicity and a schedule, especially if you are bootstrapping the whole thing. What's bootstrapping? Basically, putting in your own time, editing your own stuff, and thinking of your own content. Bootstrapping is often required in the beginning stages as we are growing. Rough schedule for me. New video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. New podcast every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can even make the journey easier by having a disk drive of a bunch of pre-recorded podcasts and YouTube videos. Having backups always leads to more creativity. Podcast versus YouTube. Long-term game. Ultimately, ask yourself, which one can I see myself sticking to long-term? A lot of the times, the answer lies in the media that we consume the most. If you consistently consume podcast episodes, who knows, that may be your calling. And vice versa is always true. The beauty is that with modern video editing software, it's much easier to extract audio and add in images to cross-combine media. Examples: strip off the audio of the YouTube video to upload it as a podcast. Get the audio from a podcast episode and add in images to create a YouTube video. So, whichever decision you make, understand you can cross-combine the two worlds later. Not only in terms of content, but in terms of content ideas. The beauty of the world of creativity is that everything begins connecting at one point. Just ask yourself, what can I do long-term, and why am I doing it? This will guide you towards your path. Best era to be a content creator. With the advanced world of the internet and the affordability of technology, this is the best era to be a content creator, whether it's podcast versus YouTube or podcast and YouTube. It's difficult for someone to tell you exactly what your path should be. In the world of the internet, with an abundance of information, self-awareness is key. Both the world of YouTube and podcast offers their own benefits. However, the only way to grow the audience and build credibility is by playing the long game. That's the beauty of content creation. It will always be the consistency that serves as the weeding out process.